Welcome into another edition of Tech Talks presented by EGP Document Solutions. I'm Andy Demetra, and we are thrilled to be joined this week by Camille Trotman from Georgia Tech Track and Field. Camille was one of 6 Tech student athletes to participate in the ACC's Unity Tour in Washington, D.C. earlier this month. And Camille, it's one thing to see all the pictures. It's much better to hear firsthand from one of the participants. So thanks so much for joining us. You're in Indianapolis right now, but we do appreciate it. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm so glad to have made it to this meeting. Like you said, I am in Indianapolis for like another convention, but I wanted to make sure I touch base with you all after my great experience.
Yeah, it's been a busy month for you, no question. First off, what motivated you to want to be part of Georgia Tech's delegation and participate in ACC Unity Week?
So the main thing that motivated me is currently this year, I worked for the Career Center, and I was one of the delegates kind of for athletics. And I worked really closely with our Total Persons program and just helping student athletes create their resumes, cover letters, and everything to do with that. But just being around athletes and seeing how everything was going, I really wanted to see, once I saw that opportunity, it was also mentioned to me by our Total Persons person. And they were like, I think this will be a really good fit for you because I'm also really invested in the NAACP. I'm the president of our school unit, and with me being in a sorority that is focused on service and public action, like all of those things tie into me really wanting to see like athletics grow and civil rights also. And I felt like Unity Week was the perfect like intersection of both.
Yeah, and it was the theme of ACC's Unity Tour was awareness to action, and there were plenty of tours and panels and museum visits. But I'm curious for you, Camille, what was for you the most impactful thing that you got to experience in DC?
So I would say the most impactful thing I experienced in DC was probably when the student athletes, when we all sit down and have our debriefs. That really was the biggest thing for me. It wasn't going to the different places or anything like that. It was just hearing from other people who are in the same shoes as me and seeing what other schools are doing and being able to know, like, okay, I can take this back to my campus and give people a similar experience, or just knowing that, like, other people had the same sentiments as me. Other people noticed things, they were experiencing the same things, and like, I'm not alone in the fight. And so that really stuck with me. And even like afterwards, some of us would connect and be like, oh, I really like what you said. Like, can you tell me more? And we even still are talking now. And just like, it's so impactful to know other student athletes have a voice and we're listening to each other.
Yeah, being a very holistic student athlete. Now, some of the highlights of the ACC Unity Tour, there was the Gender Equity in Sports panel at Audi Field where DC United plays. There was also, we know about MLK's legacy in Atlanta. You guys participated in an historical guided walk of the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington. Share some of your experiences and feelings going through those.
Yeah, so the first thing we did, well, really the first thing that happened was during our opening session, the dinner, they played go-go music. They had a go-go band come, and that was just really impactful just seeing, because that was an introduction to DC culture and the connectivity and the longevity of the culture. And it got us talking then. And then going into the March on Washington, the anniversary, us being able to take that long tour and seeing all the different monuments, but having the guy that actually told us about different historical things that happened along that march and like what it used to look like then, how DC residents are actually like the rights they have, how they're treated, and how time has changed and what's happened along the way. That was really impactful. Then I was able to go to the Holocaust Museum, and I've been there before, but it was really nice going a second time because I feel like I picked up on even more things, and doing it with other student athletes who had never been. It was really impactful because I was able to see them experience it too. And then we were able to talk about it afterwards and just get a lot out of something that we weren't there for. We didn't get to experience. And a lot of us weren't necessarily Jewish, but we were able to feel for them in the same way we would feel for an African-American person. Understanding civil rights isn't just one sector. And then being able to go to the Capitol, that was a great tour, great guide. and we were able to even talk to the representative who talked to us on the steps. But just being able to go through it with all the student athletes, see everybody actually think about what's happening, actually participating is wonderful.
Well, now finally, let's leave you with this, Camille. How do you come back to Georgia Tech feeling like a more empowered student athlete and ready to make an even greater impact in all your endeavors, not only on the track, but off?
So I just know that, like, immediately once we got back to Georgia in our group chat, we were talking about, okay, what can we bring to campus? Can we start an organization? Can we organize? Can we gather all the students so that, like, we have the same unity and the same spaces that some of these other schools have created that Georgia Tech hasn't quite got to? And so, like, we were empowering each other. We were like, okay, if you do this, I can do this. I can get these people. I know, because I've been working with some of our people in administration, I was like, okay, I can get a meeting here, and I'm with SGA now, so I can make sure SGA is looped in and we can do X, Y, and Z, and you guys can be on the athletics committee under me for SGA. And just really understanding, in order for us to leave and actually leave with something, we have to bring it back to the other students who weren't able to go. 6 out of the hundreds of student athletes at Tech is nothing, but we know that with just us 6, we can still bring that same feeling and emotion to all the other athletes.
Well, no surprise, high jumpers have lofty aspirations, figuratively and literally. You are a high jumper on the Georgia Tech track team from Powder Springs, Georgia. We appreciate you representing the Yellow Jackets in D.C. this month on the ACC Unity Tour. Camille Trotman, thanks for sharing a couple of minutes with us here in Tech Talks presented by EGP Document Solutions.
No problem at all. Anytime.